I told you 15 years ago, the next level is coming.
Vinny E-drama. Turtle and Ari are back and wreaking havoc in Hollywood. HBO's Entourage is now a full-length movie arriving in theaters today. Film critic Richard Crouse is joining us with that and other film reviews. And boy, such amazingly ardent fans of Entourage.
People
have
love
been
this show.
anticipating this forever.
Yeah, well, the show's been off the air for 4 years.
Yeah.
It was on for 8 seasons and did well while it was on. I think in the last couple of seasons, not as well as it had been doing. But people, I think, have a sense of fondness for these characters. But I would suggest that if the name Arrested Development hadn't already been taken on another show, that would have been a great title for this movie, because these characters are back 4 years later, although in the film less time has passed.
Okay.
And they are behaving in exactly the same way they did for 8 seasons on the show. And I think if you're going to blow this story up for the big screen, you've got to blow the story up a little bit as well and give us something just a little bit different, as it is for me.
And bigger than TV.
Bigger.
Yeah.
It has to be more cinematic. And for me, this movie feels like binge watching 3 or 4 episodes of the TV show, only in the last season, when it wasn't as good as it had been in the first couple of seasons.
So you give it?
I'm giving it 2 stars. It's filled with lifestyle porn. If you want to see great-looking houses, shiny cars, cool clothes,
Sit back and enjoy. Okay. What about Spy?
Spy, you know, I'd kind of gone off Melissa McCarthy. Between Identity Thief, Tammy, and The Heat, these were movies that I felt she was just kind of Ferrelling her way through that. And by that I mean Will Ferrelling her way through that. So if you think back to Will Ferrell's career a number of years ago when he was making movies like Blades of Glory and things, when directors just seemed to think it was enough to point a camera at him and say, oh, just do whatever you want to do because you are going to be hilarious. And the movies weren't particularly funny and they just seemed undisciplined and they didn't really work. That's what I thought she was doing in those last 3 films that I mentioned. Well, she's back now, teamed up for a 3rd time with her director from Bridesmaids, Paul Feig, and he's a guy that understands how to keep her, how to rein her in. I think how to keep her on the leash a little bit. There is great slapstick. She's really good at that. She can deliver a line really well, but here she's paired with a script that is equal to her talents, and she's also surrounded by a supporting cast like Jason Statham, who's doing a riff on the tough guy character that he usually plays in movies, and he's very funny in this. Rose Byrne is the villain of the piece. She's an arms dealer, and she goes 1 for 1 with Melissa McCarthy with the one-liners, and she's giving her a run for her money.
I like
so
that.
It's a spy story. Jude Law, you know, shows that maybe he kind of could have played James Bond a few years ago if it had come to that. But it's a fun movie, and for me, it's 4 stars.
Wow, 4 stars. Okay, we got some time left for Hungry Hearts. Hungry
Hearts is an unusual horror thriller film. This is about a young couple who meet in a very unusual way. They're at a restaurant and they get locked in the restroom together. And so they're stuck in there for a little while. They meet, you know, cut to the next scene, they are falling in love. Cut to the next scene, they're getting married. Next scene, they're having a baby. So all that happens very quickly. And then once the baby comes along, the mother starts to become very protective, like overprotective. She won't let the child go outside. They live in New York City. She's afraid of the pollution. She starts growing her own vegetables because she doesn't trust the grocery stores, won't let the child go to the doctor. And the child becomes sickly. The father, played by Adam Driver, we know him from Girls and lots of other things, becomes concerned and has to take steps. But he loves his wife, he loves his child, and he's stuck in this kind of dilemma. It's a really interesting premise, and I think it's the kind of movie that you'll have conversations over coffee or a drink afterwards going, I don't know, I can see her point of view, and I can see his point of view. So this, for me, is another 4-star movie.
Good reviews. Entourage, not so much, but good weekend, Richard. Thank you. You'll find all of Richard's reviews on our website, canadaam.ctvnews.ca.